How to Train Your Mind to See the Good in Life, written by James Tracy, published by Simple Audiobooks. Introduction. The introduction of How to Train Your Mind to See the Good in Life focuses on the transformative power of a positive mindset and highlights how much of our life experience is shaped by the way we think. It begins by addressing a fundamental concept. Our minds have an incredible influence on how we perceive the world and how we respond to it. When we train our minds to focus on the negative aspects, it becomes easier to overlook the positive, leaving us feeling trapped in cycles of stress, dissatisfaction, or frustration. The introduction stresses that negative thoughts are often habitual, shaped by past experiences, societal influences, and even the biological wiring of our brains, which are naturally inclined to seek out danger or discomfort for survival. However, these tendencies can be overcome with intention and practice. The key idea presented is that positivity is not simply about blind optimism or ignoring life's challenges, but about consciously choosing where to direct your attention. Instead of fixating on what's wrong or what's missing, the book suggests that we train ourselves to see the opportunities, lessons, and small joys in every situation, no matter how difficult it may seem. The introduction encourages readers to reflect on the quality of their thoughts and to recognize that they have the power to reshape them. By actively focusing on the good, one can break free from negative thought patterns and develop a mindset that allows for greater peace, contentment, and emotional resilience. This shift in perspective is not a one-time event, but an ongoing practice that requires dedication and effort. The introduction emphasizes that changing the way we think involves a process of rewiring our brain, which can be achieved through intentional exercises and habits, such as practicing gratitude, engaging in mindfulness, and fostering self-compassion. The importance of mindfulness is highlighted, as it teaches us to stay present and focused on the moment, reducing anxiety and mental clutter. By training the mind to remain in the present and appreciate what we have, we reduce the tendency to dwell on past regrets or future worries, both of which can drain our mental energy. Moreover, the introduction discusses how external factors, like the people we interact with and the environments we inhabit, can have a significant impact on our mindset. It stresses the importance of surrounding ourselves with positive influences, whether through uplifting relationships, supportive communities, or inspiring surroundings that help to reinforce the shift toward positivity. It also encourages readers to recognize that while they cannot control everything around them, they can always control how they respond. The practice of resilience is introduced as a way to bounce back from adversity, where challenges are viewed as opportunities for growth, rather than as insurmountable obstacles. Self-compassion is another key theme in the introduction. It advocates for treating ourselves with kindness, especially in moments of failure or self-doubt, rather than harshly criticizing ourselves. This is particularly important because self-criticism often perpetuates negative thinking, which can hold us back from seeing the good in our lives. Instead, by learning to be gentle with ourselves, we create a mental environment that supports healing, growth, and, ultimately, positivity. The introduction emphasizes that positivity is a skill that can be cultivated by anyone, regardless of their circumstances or past experiences. It's not about pretending that life is always perfect, but about training the mind to look for the good even in difficult situations. The idea that we can choose how we react to life's challenges is presented as a liberating concept, one that allows us to reclaim control over our mental and emotional states. This concept forms the foundation for the strategies that will follow in the book, providing readers with tools to begin the process of mental transformation. Additionally, the introduction alludes to the scientific research backing the ideas presented in the book. Studies in neuroscience and psychology have referenced to show that the brain has neuroplasticity, meaning it can change and adapt over time. By practicing positive thinking and reframing our perceptions, we can literally rewire our brain to default to a more optimistic outlook. This concept of neuroplasticity reinforces the message that positive thinking is not just a feel-good idea, but a practical and scientifically supported method for improving one's life. Finally, the introduction paints a picture of the kind of life that is possible when we train our minds to focus on the good, a life of greater happiness, contentment, and fulfillment. It suggests that we do not have to wait for circumstances to change in order to be happy. Instead, happiness can be cultivated through the way we choose to think and perceive the world around us. The introduction ends with an invitation to embark on a journey of personal growth, encouraging readers to take the first step toward seeing the good in life, no matter how small or big the change may be. In summary, the introduction of How to Train Your Mind to See the Good in Life is a call to action. It challenges readers to examine the ways they've been thinking, encourages them to recognize the power they have to change their mindset, and offers a glimpse into the life-changing potential of shifting from a negative to a positive perspective. It sets the tone for the rest of the book by offering a compelling reason for why readers should embark on this mental transformation, and provides them with hope that, with effort and practice, they can cultivate a more positive, fulfilling life. Chapter 1. The Power of Positive Thinking. This chapter presents the idea that our thoughts are not merely reflections of our experiences, but are deeply influential in shaping the way we view and interact with the world. It begins by explaining that positive thinking is far more than a mere emotional state or temporary mood boost. It is a fundamental mental practice that can have lasting effects on our lives. The chapter introduces the concept of the mind as a powerful force capable of both creating and solving problems, depending on how it is used. It stresses that our thoughts influence not only our emotions, but also our physical well-being. Positive thinking can activate the brain's reward system, leading to feelings of joy, fulfillment, and motivation, while reducing the impact of stress and anxiety. In contrast, negative thinking, which often stems from worrying, fear, or self-doubt, can lead to mental and emotional stagnation, making it harder to move forward or see the opportunities around us. The chapter highlights that while we cannot always control external circumstances, we do have the power to control how we respond to them. By consciously choosing to focus on the positive aspects of any situation, we train our brains to become more attuned to solutions rather than problems. The chapter further explains that positive thinking is not about ignoring challenges or pretending that life is always easy, but rather about cultivating an attitude of optimism and hope, even in the face of adversity. It discusses the psychological concept of cognitive reframing, where individuals learn to reinterpret negative situations in a more constructive light. This process doesn't deny the reality of difficult situations, but encourages a shift in focus, looking for the lessons, growth opportunities, or silver linings, rather than dwelling on what's wrong. The chapter emphasizes that this shift is essential for emotional resilience and mental strength, as it allows individuals to approach life's ups and downs with a sense of empowerment rather than helplessness. In addition, the chapter explores the neurological aspects of positive thinking, referencing how the brain is wired to reinforce the thoughts we repeatedly focus on. When we engage in positive thinking, we strengthen neural pathways that encourage feelings of happiness, gratitude, and possibility. Over time, this rewiring of the brain can become a permanent shift, making it easier to see the positive in any situation. Conversely, negative thoughts reinforce neural pathways that lead to pessimism, stress, and anxiety, which can become ingrained patterns if left unchecked. The chapter encourages readers to take an active role in reshaping their thought patterns by consciously redirecting their focus toward positive outcomes. The chapter also touches on the role of visualization in positive thinking. It explains that imagining successful outcomes, whether in work, relationships, or personal growth, can trigger the same brain activity as actually experiencing those successes. This mental rehearsal creates a sense of confidence and motivation, which encourages individuals to take the necessary actions to bring their goals to fruition. Positive visualization, along with affirmations, positive statements that one repeats to reinforce their belief in their abilities, can help to affirm self-worth, boost confidence, and reinforce a growth mindset. The chapter highlights that when we visualize ourselves succeeding, we not only reinforce a sense of self-belief, but also attract the energy and opportunities that align with those positive expectations. The chapter goes deeper into the concept of self-limiting beliefs, which are negative thought patterns that individuals often internalize from past experiences, societal messages, or cultural conditioning. These beliefs can be subconscious and hold individuals back from reaching their full potential, leading them to think they are not good enough or that success is beyond their reach. The chapter encourages readers to identify and challenge these limiting beliefs by asking whether they are based on facts or assumptions, and by replacing them with empowering beliefs that open the door to new possibilities. This process requires conscious effort and self-awareness, but it is key to unlocking the transformative power of positive thinking. Additionally, the chapter explains the role of gratitude in positive thinking. Practicing gratitude, whether through daily journaling or simply reflecting on the things one is thankful for, can shift focus away from what's lacking and highlight what's abundant and fulfilling in life. Gratitude is presented as a tool that helps individuals maintain a positive mindset, as it fosters a deeper appreciation for the present moment and all that it holds. By acknowledging and celebrating the good, even in the midst of challenges, we train our minds to recognize abundance rather than scarcity, creating a more optimistic outlook. The chapter also emphasizes that positive thinking is a practice, not a one-time fix. It requires consistency and dedication, as our minds are prone to revert to old patterns of thinking. To reinforce a positive mindset, it is important to engage in daily practices, such as positive affirmations, visualization, and mindfulness, which help cultivate a sense of optimism and gratitude. The chapter encourages readers to start small by making subtle shifts in their thinking, such as focusing on what went well during the day or reframing negative thoughts as opportunities for growth. Over time, these small changes add up, leading to a profound transformation in how one views themselves and the world. Finally, the chapter touches on the concept of emotional contagion, explaining how the energy and mindset of those around us can influence our own thoughts and feelings. It suggests that by surrounding ourselves with positive influences, whether through supportive relationships, inspiring environments, or uplifting media, we can further reinforce our own positive thinking habits. The chapter concludes by asserting that the power of positive thinking is available to everyone, regardless of their circumstances or past experiences. It is a choice and a skill that can be developed, and by making that choice, individuals can begin to experience more joy, success, and fulfillment in their daily lives. This transformation begins with the simple yet powerful act of choosing to focus on the positive, even in the smallest moments. Chapter 2. Breaking free from negative thought patterns. This chapter delves deeply into the pervasive nature of negative thinking, and how it can silently dictate the way we perceive ourselves and the world around us. It opens by recognizing that negative thought patterns are not just fleeting thoughts, but long-standing mental habits that have developed over time, often stemming from past experiences, trauma, fears, or learned behaviors. These patterns can be ingrained so deeply that they become automatic responses to challenges or setbacks, shaping how we view our abilities, relationships, and potential for success. For example, someone who has faced rejection or failure may develop a pattern of thinking that they are not good enough, leading them to avoid new opportunities out of fear of repeating past mistakes. Such negative thought loops become part of the person's identity, making it feel as though these thoughts define who they are. The chapter discusses how this automatic nature of negative thinking can create a sense of helplessness, as it often goes unnoticed and unchecked, reinforcing feelings of inadequacy, anxiety, or frustration. This can prevent individuals from living fully, as they may be held back by the fear of failure, criticism, or not measuring up to their own standards or the expectations of others. The text underscores that these negative thought patterns, while powerful, are not immutable, and that breaking free from them is not only possible but necessary for personal growth. The chapter goes on to explain that negative thoughts are often not based on factual evidence, but are the result of distorted thinking. These cognitive distortions can include overgeneralization, where one instance of failure is viewed as an unchanging rule for life; catastrophizing, where one assumes the worst possible outcome in any situation; or all or nothing thinking, where things are seen as either entirely good or entirely bad with no middle ground. The chapter teaches readers how to identify these cognitive distortions, which can distort reality and keep individuals trapped in negative thinking. By recognizing these patterns, individuals can begin to challenge their automatic responses, shifting from reactive thinking to more rational, objective thought. The text suggests that one powerful way to combat these negative thoughts is through mindfulness, which involves becoming aware of the present moment and observing one's thoughts without judgment. By cultivating mindfulness, individuals can begin to see that their thoughts are not truths, but merely mental events that come and go. This awareness creates space between the person and their thoughts, allowing for greater control over how to respond. For instance, when negative thoughts, such as "I always mess things up," arise, mindfulness allows one to step back and acknowledge the thought without automatically believing it. This distance provides the freedom to consciously choose how to respond, rather than acting on the negative thought impulsively. Another critical technique discussed in the chapter is cognitive reframing, which involves actively challenging and changing negative thoughts by looking for evidence that contradicts them. Cognitive reframing encourages individuals to question the validity of their negative beliefs and replace them with more constructive and empowering alternatives. For example, a person who thinks, "I'm terrible at this," might reframe the thought to, "I may not be perfect at this yet, but I'm improving and learning." The chapter highlights how this shift in perspective can change the way a person approaches challenges, shifting from a mindset of defeat to one of growth and possibility. It also emphasizes that this process takes time and repetition. Rewiring the brain to adopt healthier thought patterns requires consistency, much like building a muscle. The chapter explains that it is important not to expect immediate results and to show patience with oneself during this process. Negative thought patterns have likely been ingrained over many years, and so changing them is a gradual process that requires ongoing effort. Self-compassion is another important theme addressed in the chapter. It argues that many people are quick to criticize themselves when negative thoughts arise, perpetuating the cycle of self-doubt and low self-esteem. Instead of viewing negative thoughts as something to be ashamed of or something that defines them, the chapter encourages individuals to practice kindness toward themselves. Self-compassion involves recognizing that everyone experiences negative thoughts and that it is okay to have these feelings without allowing them to dictate one's self-worth. The chapter teaches that by treating oneself with the same compassion and understanding that one would offer a friend in times of struggle, individuals can create a nurturing environment within themselves that allows for healing and growth. When negative thoughts arise, self-compassion helps break the cycle by reducing the guilt and shame that often accompany them, making it easier to let go of those thoughts without letting them take hold. Positive affirmations are another tool discussed in this chapter to counteract negative thinking. The chapter explains that positive affirmations are statements that individuals repeat to themselves to reinforce positive beliefs and self-worth. These affirmations work by creating new neural pathways that support empowering thoughts. For example, repeating affirmations like "I am capable," "I deserve success," or "I have the strength to overcome challenges" can gradually replace self-doubt with self-belief. The chapter emphasizes that for affirmations to be effective, they must be specific, present tense, and meaningful to the individual. It also stresses the importance of consistency in practicing affirmations, as the more often they are repeated, the more deeply they can be ingrained into the subconscious mind. The process of repeating affirmations is not a quick fix, but rather a long-term commitment to reshaping one's internal dialogue or a positive direction. The chapter also touches on the importance of the environment in shaping thought patterns. It suggests that individuals are influenced by the people they surround themselves with, as well as the content they consume, such as social media, news, and entertainment. A person's environment can either reinforce negative thinking or support a positive mindset. The chapter encourages individuals to be mindful of the people they interact with and to seek out relationships and communities that promote positivity and support. Additionally, it advises limiting exposure to negative or toxic media that can perpetuate feelings of fear, inadequacy, or pessimism. Surrounding oneself with uplifting influences can create an atmosphere conducive to positive thinking and personal growth. The chapter concludes by emphasizing that breaking free from negative thought patterns is not about eradicating negative thoughts entirely, but rather about gaining control over them and not allowing them to dominate one's mental landscape. It explains that by practicing mindfulness, reframing negative thoughts, using affirmations, showing self-compassion, and nurturing a positive environment, individuals can gradually change their thinking patterns. Over time, these practices can lead to a shift in perspective, where negative thoughts lose their power to control one's actions, and a more optimistic, empowered outlook on life begins to take root. Chapter 3. The Gratitude Practice. This chapter dives deeply into the profound and transformative effects that gratitude can have on both the mind and body. The chapter begins by emphasizing how gratitude is more than just a fleeting feeling. It is an intentional, regular practice that requires conscious effort to integrate into everyday life. Most people, due to the busyness of life or the prevalence of negativity in the world, tend to focus on what they don't have or what's going wrong, which often leads to feelings of dissatisfaction and frustration. This habitual focus on the negative can lead to a fixed mindset where one's thoughts and emotions are constantly anchored in scarcity, lack, or disappointment. The chapter highlights that this mindset can perpetuate stress, anxiety, and unhappiness, creating a cycle that is difficult to break. However, the act of cultivating gratitude is introduced as a way to disrupt this cycle by intentionally shifting one's focus from what is missing or wrong to what is abundant and right in life, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant. It explains that when gratitude is practiced regularly, it trains the brain to recognize positive elements in life, fostering a mindset that is more open, optimistic, and appreciative. The chapter then discusses the science behind gratitude, citing studies that show how the brain can change and reorganize itself through intentional practices. One of the key findings highlighted is that expressing gratitude activates the brain's reward centers, releasing feel-good chemicals like dopamine and serotonin, which contribute to improved mood and a sense of well-being. Regular practice of gratitude can also reduce stress by lowering levels of cortisol, a hormone associated with the body's stress response. The chapter explains that this physical response to gratitude helps individuals to better manage the emotional challenges that arise in daily life. As gratitude helps to balance the brain's neural circuits, it also improves emotional resilience, making it easier for individuals to bounce back from adversity or negative situations. Furthermore, the chapter underscores the idea that gratitude does not need to be reserved for grand or life-changing moments. Small acts of appreciation, such as recognizing a kind gesture, the beauty of nature, or simply having a moment of peace, can all contribute to fostering a grateful mindset. Additionally, the chapter introduces the practice of keeping a gratitude journal as a simple yet effective tool to nurture gratitude in daily life. It explains that writing down things one is thankful for every day helps to focus attention on positive moments and forces the individual to reflect on what went well, even on challenging days. The chapter suggests setting aside time each day to write down at least 3 things one is grateful for, which could range from tangible things, such as good health or supportive relationships, to intangible things, such as feelings of peace or moments of personal growth. This regular journaling practice encourages individuals to be more aware of their surroundings and to actively seek out things to be thankful for, even in the midst of chaos or hardship. Over time, the habit of journaling not only helps to reinforce the benefits of gratitude, but also encourages a more positive outlook on life, leading to greater feelings of contentment and satisfaction. The chapter emphasizes that the key to journaling is consistency, as gratitude practiced regularly has a compounding effect, leading to lasting changes in one's thought patterns and emotional state. The text goes on to explore how gratitude can be expressed beyond journaling. It encourages readers to vocalize their appreciation and express it to others, whether through a simple thank you or more elaborate expressions of gratitude. Expressing gratitude to others strengthens relationships, fosters feelings of connection, and encourages the recipient to feel valued and appreciated. The chapter suggests that even in relationships where conflict or misunderstandings may arise, expressing gratitude for the positive aspects of the relationship can help to foster an atmosphere of goodwill and understanding. Gratitude is shown to enhance empathy and reduce negative emotions like resentment or anger, leading to more harmonious interactions. The chapter also underscores the importance of showing gratitude in the workplace or in daily interactions with strangers, as these small gestures can have a ripple effect, creating a more positive environment and influencing the mood of those around us. The practice of gratitude is also discussed in relation to physical health. The chapter explains that people who consistently practice gratitude report better overall health, improved sleep quality, and a greater sense of vitality. It explains that gratitude helps to reduce physical tension and anxiety, making it easier to relax and experience restorative sleep. Furthermore, individuals who practice gratitude are more likely to engage in healthier behaviors, such as exercise and eating well, as they develop a greater sense of appreciation for their bodies and their ability to care for themselves. The chapter highlights that gratitude has a holistic impact on well-being, benefiting not only the mind, but also the body. One of the more profound aspects discussed is how gratitude helps individuals to reframe difficult experiences or challenges. It emphasizes that practicing gratitude does not mean ignoring pain or hardships, but rather finding moments of appreciation in the midst of adversity. The chapter suggests that in times of difficulty, individuals can ask themselves, "What can I be grateful for in this situation?" Even in the face of setbacks or failures, gratitude helps individuals to recognize the growth, lessons, or opportunities that arise from these experiences. This reframing ability allows individuals to view challenges as temporary or as part of a larger, positive journey, rather than as insurmountable obstacles. Over time, this practice strengthens one's ability to persevere and develop a sense of inner peace, knowing that even difficult times are part of the larger picture of life. The chapter goes on to explain that gratitude is an essential tool for cultivating a positive mindset. While it may seem difficult at first to focus on the positive when surrounded by negativity, the practice of gratitude helps to recalibrate the mind toward what is going well. This shift in focus helps individuals to become more aware of the blessings in their life, no matter how small, and creates a foundation for positivity to thrive. The chapter encourages readers to reflect on how they can integrate gratitude into their daily routine, suggesting that even simple practices like starting or ending the day with a moment of reflection on what they are grateful for can significantly improve mental and emotional well-being. Finally, the chapter emphasizes the long-term benefits of cultivating a gratitude practice. It explains that gratitude is not just a quick fix for improving mood, but a lasting, sustainable practice that can create a more fulfilling, meaningful life. Over time, as individuals become more accustomed to focusing on the positive, their entire outlook on life shifts. Gratitude becomes a way of being, not just a practice, allowing individuals to experience deeper joy, peace, and connection. The chapter closes by reiterating that the power of gratitude lies not only in the things we are thankful for, but in our ability to recognize and appreciate the good, even in the most challenging times. By making gratitude a core part of our lives, we can shift our perspective and create a life filled with greater fulfillment and happiness. Chapter 4. Mindfulness and Living in the Present Moment. This chapter offers an in-depth exploration of how mindfulness can profoundly change how one experiences and interacts with the world. It begins by highlighting the widespread issue that many people face today, living either in the past, obsessing over past regrets, mistakes, or missed opportunities, or in the future, worrying about things that might never happen. This state of constant mental distraction leads to stress, anxiety, and dissatisfaction as individuals become disconnected from the present moment, where life is truly happening. The chapter underscores the importance of mindfulness as a practice that encourages individuals to focus fully on the present, observing and engaging with their current experience without judgment. The practice of mindfulness is depicted as a tool to interrupt the cycle of anxiety and worrying by training the mind to be more aware of what is happening in the moment, rather than being consumed by what has already passed or what might come. Through this awareness, people can develop a sense of peace and emotional stability, as they are no longer swept away by the turbulence of their thoughts. The chapter explains that mindfulness is not just about paying attention to the present, but also about cultivating a particular kind of awareness, one that is non-judgmental and compassionate. This means accepting whatever thoughts or emotions arise without labeling them as good or bad, but simply observing them as they are. This practice helps individuals develop a healthier relationship with their internal experiences. Rather than reacting impulsively to emotions or thoughts, mindfulness allows for a moment of pause, providing space between stimulus and response, which leads to more thoughtful and conscious actions. This awareness also helps people recognize and understand the patterns in their thinking, enabling them to break free from negative cycles of rumination and worrying. It is highlighted that mindfulness isn't just an intellectual exercise. It is an experiential process that involves connecting deeply with one's thoughts, emotions, and physical sensations. The chapter discusses several mindfulness techniques that can be used in daily life to cultivate this awareness. One of the most common techniques is focused breathing. It explains that by simply paying attention to the breath, individuals can anchor themselves in the present moment. Deep, conscious breathing helps to calm the nervous system, reducing stress and anxiety, and brings one's attention back from distracting thoughts to the current moment. The chapter introduces body scan techniques, where one mentally scans the body from head to toe, noticing any areas of tension or discomfort. This helps individuals become more attuned to the physical sensations of the body, which often go unnoticed in the rush of daily life. The practice of mindful observation is also introduced, where individuals intentionally pay attention to their surroundings, whether it's the feel of a soft fabric, the sound of birds chirping, or the taste of food. This practice encourages living fully in the moment, experiencing each sensation without distraction or judgment. The chapter goes into further detail about how mindfulness impacts the mind and body in transformative ways. It explains that mindfulness helps to quiet the constant chatter of the mind, which is often filled with worries, regrets, and plans. By training the mind to return to the present moment, individuals experience a sense of clarity and focus, which can improve concentration and productivity. The chapter notes that mindfulness has been shown to reduce the symptoms of various mental health issues, such as anxiety, depression, and PTSD. It helps individuals become more aware of their emotions, allowing them to respond to challenging situations with a sense of calm and balance. Mindfulness also plays a significant role in emotional regulation, as individuals learn to observe and accept their emotions without being overwhelmed by them. In addition to its mental health benefits, mindfulness has a profound impact on physical health as well. The chapter explains that mindfulness can help to reduce stress levels by calming the body's stress response system, leading to lower levels of cortisol and a more relaxed state. It also enhances immune system functioning, promotes better sleep, and increases overall feelings of vitality. It notes that people who practice mindfulness are less likely to engage in unhealthy coping mechanisms like overeating, smoking, or excessive drinking, as they become more attuned to their physical and emotional needs. Moreover, the chapter suggests that mindfulness promotes a sense of self-compassion, which helps people develop a healthier relationship with themselves, reducing self-criticism and negative self-talk that can contribute to poor mental and physical health. The chapter emphasizes the importance of integrating mindfulness into everyday life, suggesting that it doesn't have to be limited to formal meditation practices, but can be woven into routine activities. It introduces the idea of mindful eating, where individuals take the time to fully savor their meals, paying attention to the taste, texture, and smell of the food, rather than rushing through meals or eating mindlessly. It also encourages mindful walking, where individuals bring their full attention to the act of walking, noticing each step and the environment around them. These simple, everyday mindfulness practices allow individuals to experience life more fully and with greater appreciation. Over time, these small, conscious moments add up, gradually shifting the person's entire approach to life. Mindfulness is presented not just as a technique for calming the mind, but as a fundamental shift in how one perceives and engages with the world. The chapter explains that when mindfulness becomes a regular part of one's life, it allows individuals to experience more joy and fulfillment, as they learn to savor the present moment instead of constantly seeking happiness in the future or dwelling on past mistakes. It reveals that through mindfulness, one can find peace even in the midst of chaos, as it provides a tool for grounding oneself in the here and now. By being present, individuals can connect more deeply with their environment, their relationships, and themselves. This deeper connection enhances their experience of life, allowing them to be more compassionate, patient, and content. The chapter also explores how mindfulness helps people respond more effectively to stress and challenges. By being present in the moment, individuals can better assess situations and choose how to react, rather than being caught up in emotional reactivity. This responsiveness, rather than reactivity, leads to better decision-making and problem-solving skills. The chapter explains that mindfulness allows people to break free from automatic, habitual responses, which are often driven by past experiences or anxieties about the future. Instead, it empowers them to make conscious, deliberate choices in how they engage with their emotions and the world around them. The chapter also emphasizes that mindfulness is not about avoiding or suppressing difficult emotions, but learning how to approach them with acceptance, curiosity, and compassion. Finally, the chapter concludes by reinforcing that mindfulness is a lifelong practice that requires patience and consistency. It is not something that can be perfected overnight, but with regular practice, individuals can gradually shift their mindset from one of constant distraction to one of focused presence. It encourages readers to begin small, by incorporating brief moments of mindfulness throughout the day, and to recognize that, just like any other skill, mindfulness improves with time and practice. The chapter underscores that living in the present moment through mindfulness is not about eliminating all challenges or stresses, but learning how to approach them with greater awareness, acceptance, and peace. By making mindfulness a part of daily life, individuals can create a sense of calm, clarity, and joy that transforms their overall experience of the world. Chapter 5. Overcoming Setbacks with Resilience. This chapter delves into the psychological and emotional aspects of resilience, emphasizing that resilience is not a fixed trait, but a dynamic and adaptable quality that can be developed and strengthened over time. It starts by acknowledging that setbacks, no matter their form, are inevitable in life. Whether it's a personal failure, professional setback, or an unexpected challenge, everyone faces obstacles at some point. However, the key difference between those who thrive in adversity and those who crumble is how they respond to these challenges. The chapter explains that resilient individuals do not shy away from difficulty. Instead, they face adversity directly, maintaining an inner strength and sense of purpose despite the obstacles they encounter. The notion of resilience, as discussed, is built on the foundation that setbacks are not indicative of personal failure or permanent defeat. Instead, they are seen as part of a learning process, a crucial component of growth that allows individuals to build character, wisdom, and emotional endurance. The chapter further delves into how one can cultivate resilience, stating that it is a skill that requires conscious effort and practice, not something that people are born with. One of the primary components of resilience is the ability to maintain a positive mindset in the face of adversity. It emphasizes the importance of reframing negative experiences, looking for lessons and silver linings in even the most difficult situations, and using setbacks as opportunities for personal development. For example, rather than seeing failure as an end, resilient individuals reframe it as a temporary setback or a stepping stone toward a more successful outcome. This reframing process involves recognizing that setbacks, while uncomfortable, are not permanent, and that the ability to rise above them lies in how one interprets and reacts to the situation. Resilient individuals are also shown to have a mindset that allows them to view challenges as part of the journey, helping them remain focused on the bigger picture and long-term goals, rather than becoming bogged down by temporary disappointments or failures. Another key aspect of resilience discussed in the chapter is emotional regulation, or the ability to control and manage one's emotions in difficult situations. The chapter emphasizes that setbacks often trigger negative emotions, such as frustration, sadness, anger, or helplessness, which can cloud judgment and lead to reactive, impulsive behaviors. However, resilient people are able to acknowledge and experience these emotions without allowing them to take over. They practice techniques such as mindfulness and self-reflection, which help them process their feelings in a healthy way. Emotional resilience allows individuals to stay calm under pressure, think clearly in challenging situations, and respond to adversity in a balanced, composed manner. By practicing emotional regulation, individuals can avoid spiraling into negativity and instead use their emotions as a source of energy and motivation to move forward. In addition to emotional regulation, the chapter emphasizes the importance of developing a strong sense of self-efficacy, believing in one's ability to overcome obstacles. This sense of self-belief is crucial for resilience, as it motivates individuals to keep going even when the going gets tough. The chapter explains that when people believe they have the power to handle whatever life throws their way, they are more likely to stay persistent and keep trying despite setbacks. Self-efficacy helps people see challenges as solvable and temporary rather than insurmountable. Resilient individuals trust in their ability to learn from failure, improve, and adapt as needed. This belief in themselves empowers them to stay focused on their goals and remain hopeful even during times of struggle. The chapter also highlights the critical role of support systems in building resilience. It explains that no one can navigate setbacks alone, and that resilience is often bolstered by having a network of supportive relationships. Friends, family, mentors, or colleagues who provide encouragement, offer different perspectives, or simply listen during difficult times can make a significant difference in how a person copes with adversity. The chapter suggests that resilient individuals actively seek support and are open to receiving help when needed. Having a strong support system provides emotional nourishment and can be a powerful source of strength during tough times. The chapter emphasizes that reaching out for help is not a sign of weakness, but a key element of resilience, as it allows individuals to gain new insights and coping strategies that they may not have considered on their own. Furthermore, the chapter discusses the importance of self-care in building resilience. It explains that individuals who neglect their physical and mental health are less likely to handle setbacks effectively. Resilient people recognize the importance of maintaining their well-being and regularly engage in activities that nourish their body and mind. The chapter advises adopting a balanced approach to self-care, incorporating practices such as regular physical exercise, healthy eating, adequate sleep, and relaxation techniques like meditation or yoga. These activities help individuals maintain their emotional equilibrium, improve their physical health, and reduce stress, all of which are essential for resilience. Taking care of oneself ensures that individuals are physically and mentally equipped to face challenges head-on and recover more quickly when setbacks arise. The chapter also delves into the concept of adaptability as an integral part of resilience. It highlights that life is constantly changing, and setbacks are often the result of unexpected changes or circumstances. Resilient individuals are adaptable, able to adjust their plans, behaviors, and expectations when necessary. The ability to shift gears and change direction when faced with an obstacle is essential for overcoming challenges. The chapter suggests that cultivating flexibility and a willingness to embrace change is a powerful tool for building resilience. Instead of resisting change or feeling defeated by it, resilient individuals see it as an opportunity to explore new possibilities and take a different approach toward achieving their goals. The chapter also emphasizes that resilience is about finding meaning in adversity. When setbacks occur, resilient individuals often seek out the deeper lessons embedded within the challenge. Rather than viewing hardship as meaningless or unjust, they strive to find purpose in their struggles. The chapter explains that individuals who can find meaning in difficult experiences are more likely to come out of setbacks stronger and more motivated. For example, someone who faces a career setback may reflect on the experience and recognize it as an opportunity for personal growth or as a push to pursue a more fulfilling career path. Finding meaning in adversity gives individuals a sense of purpose and helps them remain focused on their long-term vision, even in the face of short-term challenges. The chapter also discusses how resilience can be built through gradual exposure to challenges. It explains that just like building physical strength, emotional resilience is strengthened through practice and experience. The more individuals face adversity and overcome setbacks, the more resilient they become. By stepping out of their comfort zones and taking on challenges, individuals learn how to navigate difficulties with greater ease and confidence. The chapter suggests that individuals intentionally seek opportunities to stretch themselves, whether by taking on new projects at work, facing personal fears, or learning new skills. Each challenge faced and overcome contributes to a stronger, more resilient mindset. In conclusion, the chapter reinforces that resilience is not about avoiding setbacks, but about embracing and learning from them. Setbacks are an inevitable part of life, but how individuals respond to them is what determines their ability to grow and succeed. The chapter encourages readers to view setbacks as opportunities for growth, to cultivate a positive mindset, to rely on their support system, and to take care of their physical and mental health. By building resilience, individuals can navigate life's challenges with greater ease, maintain their sense of purpose, and emerge from adversity stronger and more capable than before. Chapter 6: Cultivating a Growth Mindset. This chapter offers a comprehensive exploration of how adopting a growth mindset can profoundly influence one's personal and professional life. It begins by explaining the core concept that intelligence and abilities are not fixed traits, but qualities that can be developed and enhanced through effort, practice, and learning. This contrasts sharply with a fixed mindset, where people believe their talents, intelligence, and capacities are predetermined and unchangeable. The chapter stresses that the belief in fixed abilities leads to a limited approach to life, where challenges are feared and failure is seen as something to be avoided at all costs. People with a fixed mindset may shy away from difficult tasks because they fear their lack of ability will be exposed, leading to self-doubt and inaction. On the other hand, those with a growth mindset that view challenges as opportunities for learning and development. They understand that setbacks and mistakes are an inevitable part of growth and are vital for honing skills and expanding knowledge. The chapter underscores that embracing challenges allows individuals to push the boundaries of their abilities, stretch their potential, and ultimately achieve greater success. A significant point discussed is how the growth mindset nurtures resilience. People with a growth mindset do not see failure as an indication of their lack of worth or ability. Instead, they understand that failure is part of the learning curve and something that can be used as a valuable lesson. This chapter explains that when faced with failure or setbacks, individuals with a growth mindset are more likely to persist and find alternative ways to succeed. They don't give up after one attempt, but rather adjust their approach, keep experimenting, and view each failure as a stepping stone toward improvement. This ability to stay persistent despite challenges is what builds mental toughness and emotional resilience over time. The chapter discusses how a growth mindset shifts the focus from achieving specific outcomes to a process-oriented approach, where personal development, effort, and continuous learning are the true measures of success. The chapter also delves into how adopting a growth mindset fosters a proactive approach to life. People with a growth mindset are more likely to take on new challenges and embrace opportunities for growth. They seek feedback and use it constructively, believing that they can improve through practice and feedback. In contrast, individuals with a fixed mindset may avoid constructive criticism, perceiving it as an attack on their abilities rather than an opportunity to learn. The growth mindset encourages a love for learning, where individuals continuously seek out new knowledge and skills to enhance their personal and professional lives. This openness to learning leads to greater creativity, innovation, and the ability to adapt to changing circumstances, all of which are essential for success in an ever-evolving world. The chapter explains how the process of learning becomes its own reward for those with a growth mindset, as they value progress over perfection. Another essential concept discussed is how a growth mindset helps individuals navigate self-doubt and fear of failure. Many people struggle with a fear of making mistakes, often paralyzing them from taking risks or trying new things. However, the chapter explains that those with a growth mindset are able to reframe their thinking, seeing mistakes not as failures, but as opportunities for improvement. They view challenges as situations where their efforts and learning will lead to growth. This perspective shifts the individual's internal dialogue from "I can't do this" to "I haven't learned this yet," which opens the door to perseverance and determination. The growth mindset emphasizes that the ability to overcome challenges lies within the individual's hands, and with the right mindset, anyone can achieve greater success, no matter their starting point. The chapter also highlights the importance of focusing on effort rather than innate talent. People with a growth mindset tend to focus on the process and the effort they put into learning and improvement. This focus on effort rather than talent enables them to push through difficult moments with the belief that progress is achievable through consistent work. The chapter explains that when individuals shift their focus from the outcome to the effort and improvement, they experience a sense of empowerment and accomplishment, as progress becomes more meaningful than just the end result. This mindset encourages a lifelong approach to learning, where individuals continuously seek ways to better themselves, regardless of their current skill level. In terms of language and self-talk, the chapter stresses that the words people use to describe themselves and their abilities can significantly shape their mindset. It explains how those with a growth mindset use positive and empowering language, such as "I can learn this" or "I am capable of improving," which reinforces their belief and their potential to grow. In contrast, those with a fixed mindset may use limiting language, "I'm just not good at this," or "I'll never be able to do that," which can reinforce their sense of helplessness and stagnation. The chapter suggests that by consciously changing their self-talk, individuals can begin to reshape their mindset and view challenges and setbacks as part of their growth journey. The power of language, as discussed in the chapter, is critical in influencing one's attitude toward challenges and learning. The chapter also touches on the importance of celebrating small wins and progress. Individuals with a growth mindset recognize that growth is a gradual process, and they celebrate even the smallest steps forward. This celebration of progress boosts motivation, encourages perseverance, and reinforces the belief that improvement is possible with effort. The chapter explains how, By acknowledging and celebrating small victories, individuals are more likely to stay committed to their long-term goals. This positive reinforcement creates a cycle of continuous improvement, where each success, no matter how small, fuels the desire to keep moving forward and learning. The chapter also discusses how a growth mindset can positively impact relationships and interactions with others. Individuals with a growth mindset are more likely to encourage and support others in their efforts to improve, rather than feeling threatened by the success of others. They understand that everyone is on their own journey of growth, and that collaboration and shared learning can benefit everyone involved. The chapter explains how this mindset fosters a more positive, supportive environment in both personal and professional relationships, as people with a growth mindset are more willing to share knowledge, provide constructive feedback, and celebrate each other's growth. This positive and collaborative approach helps create communities where growth is valued and everyone can thrive. Finally, the chapter concludes by reinforcing that developing a growth mindset requires consistent effort and self-awareness. It's not something that happens overnight, but through conscious practice and the willingness to challenge one's own limiting beliefs, anyone can cultivate a mindset that fosters growth, resilience, and continuous learning. The chapter encourages readers to actively embrace challenges, take risks, learn from mistakes, and view personal growth as a lifelong journey. By nurturing a growth mindset, individuals can unlock their full potential, overcome obstacles, and create lasting success in all areas of life. Chapter 7. Surrounding yourself with positivity. This chapter elaborates on the powerful influence that our social and physical environments have on our mental and emotional well-being. It begins by exploring the concept that we are constantly absorbing energy from the people we interact with and the spaces we inhabit. These energies, whether positive or negative, can significantly shape our thoughts, behaviors, and attitudes, often without us realizing it. The chapter discusses how toxic environments and relationships, characterized by negativity, pessimism, or criticism, can subtly erode self-confidence, breed insecurity, and reinforce unhealthy thought patterns. Negative energy, when consistently encountered, can lead to feelings of helplessness and stagnation, making it more difficult to take risks or embrace opportunities for growth. This type of environment creates a mental framework where failure is feared, challenges seem insurmountable, and self-doubt becomes the default mode of thinking. In contrast, the chapter underscores how positive environments, those filled with uplifting people, optimistic energy, and supportive interactions, can act as catalysts for personal development, providing the emotional fuel needed to pursue ambitions, overcome obstacles, and build resilience. People who surround us with positivity encourage us to believe in our potential, inspire us to take action, and help us remain motivated during times of difficulty. The chapter highlights that these individuals are not just cheerleaders, but also offer constructive feedback that fosters growth and improvement, creating a balance of encouragement and healthy challenge. The concept of energy transfer is a key theme in this chapter. It explains that emotions and mental states are contagious, meaning that when we spend time with positive individuals, we are more likely to adopt their mindset and attitude toward life. Likewise, when we are around negative, complaining, or energy-draining individuals, we may unconsciously adopt their mindset, resulting in feelings of frustration, sadness, or defeat. This phenomenon is not limited to just interpersonal interactions, but extends to the media we consume. The chapter discusses how the content we engage with, be it through social media, television, or books, shapes our outlook on life and influences our mental state. Consuming negative, fear-based, or anxiety-inducing content can perpetuate a sense of helplessness, whereas engaging with positive, empowering content can shift our perspective and motivate us to take positive action. The chapter stresses the importance of being mindful of what we expose ourselves to, suggesting that we make conscious choices about the people, activities, and media we allow into our lives. By selectively surrounding ourselves with positivity, we can create an environment that nurtures mental clarity, emotional balance, and motivation. Another critical point raised in the chapter is the significance of cultivating relationships with individuals who embody a growth mindset. People who maintain a growth mindset are more likely to embrace challenges, view failure as a learning opportunity, and remain committed to personal development. The chapter explains how interacting with such individuals can inspire us to adopt similar beliefs and behaviors. They help reinforce the idea that growth is possible for everyone, no matter their starting point, and that effort and perseverance are the keys to success. These relationships act as mirrors, reflecting back the potential within ourselves and encouraging us to take steps toward realizing that potential. The chapter emphasizes that surrounding ourselves with growth-minded individuals fosters a culture of improvement, where everyone is supported in their journey towards self-betterment. These relationships are grounded in mutual respect, encouragement, and shared learning, creating an atmosphere where personal and collective progress is prioritized over competition or comparison. Beyond relationships, the chapter highlights the importance of our physical environment in fostering positivity. It discusses how our surroundings, whether at home, work, or in public spaces, can have a profound effect on our mental state. Cluttered, disorganized spaces often contribute to feelings of stress, distraction, and overwhelm, whereas clean, organized, and aesthetically pleasing environments tend to promote calm, focus, and clarity. The chapter advises creating spaces that are conducive to positive thinking, such as by incorporating elements that inspire joy, peace, or creativity. This might include surrounding ourselves with affirmations, motivational quotes, uplifting artwork, or nature, all of which can serve as visual reminders of our goals and the possibilities that lie ahead. The physical environment can also include how we organize our time and routines, with a focus on creating a schedule that encourages balance, relaxation, and productivity, rather than overwhelm or burnout. The chapter also suggests that engaging in activities that promote well-being, such as exercising, meditating, or spending time in nature, further enhances the positive energy around us, allowing us to stay grounded and centered. The idea of protecting your peace is explored in the chapter, emphasizing the importance of setting boundaries with people or situations that drain us emotionally. It explains that while we cannot always control the actions of others, we can choose how we respond and whom we allow into our lives. The chapter stresses the importance of protecting one's energy by learning to say no to toxic relationships, environments, or obligations that do not align with personal values or goals. By setting healthy boundaries, individuals can create a space where they can thrive, free from the negativity and stress that often arise from overextending themselves or tolerating unhealthy dynamics. The chapter encourages readers to prioritize their well-being by choosing to invest their time and energy into relationships and environments that nourish their spirit and support their growth. The chapter also examines how gratitude plays a role in cultivating a positive environment. It explains that by focusing on the positive aspects of our lives and expressing gratitude, we naturally attract more positive experiences and individuals. Gratitude shifts the focus away from what is lacking or negative and instead directs our attention to what is going well, amplifying feelings of contentment and appreciation. By practicing gratitude regularly, individuals are more likely to maintain an optimistic outlook, even in the face of adversity. The chapter suggests incorporating daily gratitude practices, such as journaling or taking time each day to acknowledge what we are thankful for, as a way to foster positivity and attract more of it into our lives. The chapter also touches on the impact of social media and digital spaces on mental health. While digital platforms offer opportunities for connection and inspiration, they can also be a source of negativity, comparison, and stress. The chapter advises taking steps to curate a digital environment that supports positivity, such as unfollowing accounts that promote negativity, comparison, or unrealistic standards, and instead following individuals or pages that inspire, educate, and uplift. This digital detox is presented as a way to protect mental space and prevent the overwhelming flood of negative content from influencing our thoughts and emotions. Finally, the chapter emphasizes that surrounding oneself with positivity is not a one-time effort, but a continuous practice. It requires ongoing mindfulness and intentionality in choosing who and what we allow into our lives. By making consistent choices to surround ourselves with positive influences, whether through relationships, environments, or media, we can create an atmosphere that fosters personal growth, emotional well-being, and resilience. The chapter concludes by reinforcing the idea that our external environment is a reflection of our internal state, and that by consciously cultivating positivity around us, we are actively shaping a more fulfilling and empowered life. Chapter 8. The role of self-compassion in positivity. This chapter delves deeply into how self-compassion is integral to maintaining not only a positive mindset, but also emotional well-being in the face of life's challenges. At its core, self-compassion is about being gentle with oneself, particularly during moments of failure, setbacks, or difficult emotions. Unlike self-esteem, which tends to be contingent on achievements, external validation, or how we measure up to others, self-compassion is a more stable, inner resource that doesn't fluctuate with successes or failures. It is the practice of treating oneself with kindness, patience, and understanding, as one would treat a loved one or close friend who is going through tough times. The chapter highlights how self-compassion has been shown to enhance emotional resilience by allowing individuals to acknowledge their mistakes, imperfections, or moments of vulnerability without harsh self-criticism. The chapter emphasizes that many individuals struggle with feelings of inadequacy or disappointment, often because they hold themselves to unrealistic standards or are constantly measuring their worth based on how well they perform in certain areas of life. This perpetual cycle of self-judgment and perfectionism erodes self-esteem and fosters a negative outlook, as it becomes impossible to meet the high, often unattainable, expectations we set for ourselves. However, self-compassion offers an antidote to this internal struggle, shifting the focus away from judgment and toward acceptance. It encourages individuals to embrace their human imperfections, recognizing that making mistakes and experiencing failure are inherent parts of the human experience. By doing so, individuals can release the need for perfection and approach themselves with kindness instead of harsh criticism. The chapter explains that by practicing self-compassion, individuals can soften their inner dialogue, replacing negative, self-critical thoughts with affirmations of worth and encouragement. This creates space for a healing, growth, and learning rather than allowing shame, guilt, or frustration to take over. One of the key components of self-compassion discussed in the chapter is the practice of mindfulness. Mindfulness helps individuals become more aware of their emotions without being overwhelmed by them. In times of stress or emotional turmoil, individuals often react by suppressing or denying their feelings, which can make them more intense and difficult to deal with. By practicing mindfulness, however, individuals can sit with their emotions in a non-judgmental way, acknowledging them without letting them dictate their behavior. This practice of mindful awareness allows individuals to understand that emotions, whether positive or negative, are temporary, and that their worth is not defined by any single emotional experience. The chapter further discusses how self-compassion involves cultivating a sense of connectedness with others, by recognizing that suffering and imperfection are universal experiences. By acknowledging that everyone, at some point, experiences failure, disappointment, or pain, individuals can feel less isolated in their struggles and more empathetic toward others. This sense of shared humanity is powerful, as it allows individuals to approach both themselves and others with greater empathy, kindness, and understanding. The chapter explains that self-compassion is not a form of self-indulgence or self-pity. Rather, it is a healthy practice that encourages individuals to meet their challenges with love and grace, without beating themselves up for not meeting. This aspect of self-compassion is crucial, as it fosters an environment in which individuals feel safe to learn from their mistakes, rather than fear making them in the first place. In addition, the chapter underscores how self-compassion impacts mental health. It discusses how an absence of self-compassion often leads to negative mental health outcomes, such as anxiety, depression, and stress. When individuals are constantly caught in a cycle of self-criticism or perfectionism, it can create a deep sense of inadequacy, contributing to anxiety and emotional distress. Conversely, those who practice self-compassion experience lower levels of these mental health challenges, as they have a healthier, more nurturing relationship with themselves. The chapter explains that self-compassion helps individuals manage negative emotions like guilt, shame, or regret by allowing them to process these feelings without being consumed by them. Rather than engaging in self-blame or ruminating on past mistakes, individuals can acknowledge their feelings, understand their causes, and release them with kindness. This release of negative emotions enables individuals to move forward with greater clarity and peace of mind. The chapter also explains how self-compassion supports personal growth by encouraging individuals to take risks, try new things, and embrace challenges without fear of failure. When individuals are kind to themselves during setbacks, they are more likely to see these setbacks as opportunities for learning and growth, rather than as evidence of their inadequacy. By developing this mindset, they are more resilient in the face of challenges and more open to the possibilities of self-improvement. It is this perspective shift, viewing mistakes as stepping stones to growth rather than as failures, that makes self-compassion such a powerful tool for cultivating positivity. The chapter further elaborates on the difference between self-compassion and self-esteem. While self-esteem is often based on external factors like achievements, validation from others, or success in certain areas, self-compassion is unconditional and not tied to external outcomes. Self-compassion allows individuals to maintain a sense of worth even when they encounter failure or difficulties, whereas self-esteem can often fluctuate based on how well someone is doing in specific areas of life. This makes self-compassion a more stable and reliable foundation for positivity, because it encourages individuals to treat themselves with respect and kindness, regardless of their external circumstances. Another aspect discussed is how self-compassion is essential in breaking the cycle of negative self-talk, which can be one of the biggest barriers to positive thinking. When individuals are harsh with themselves, they reinforce negative beliefs and distort their sense of self-worth. By practicing self-compassion, they can reframe these self-critical thoughts into more loving, affirming ones. This process involves noticing the negative thoughts without judgment, then gently challenging them by replacing them with more balanced, supportive perspectives. Over time, this practice rewires the brain to focus on self-acceptance and kindness, contributing to a more positive outlook on life. In addition to breaking the cycle of negative self-talk, self-compassion also nurtures greater self-awareness. The chapter explores how individuals who practice self-compassion are better able to recognize when they are being overly self-critical and can consciously shift their mindset. This greater awareness allows individuals to be more mindful of their emotional needs and provides them with the tools to respond to themselves with care and consideration when they are struggling. This mindful approach helps individuals regulate their emotions and avoid getting caught in negative spirals of self-blame or frustration. The chapter concludes by stressing that self-compassion is not a one-time effort, but a lifelong practice. It requires continuous attention and commitment, especially in challenging situations. The more individuals practice self-compassion, the more natural it becomes to approach oneself with kindness, forgiveness, and understanding. In turn, this cultivates a more positive, resilient, and growth-oriented mindset that can weather life's inevitable difficulties. Ultimately, self-compassion serves as a vital tool in creating lasting positivity and emotional well-being, allowing individuals to thrive despite challenges and to embrace their true, imperfect selves with love and acceptance. Chapter 9. Transforming negative emotions into fuel for growth. This chapter delves deep into the concept that negative emotions, often perceived as burdensome or disruptive, are, in fact, powerful sources of energy and insight when approached with the right mindset. It challenges the common tendency to avoid or suppress emotions like anger, sadness, fear, and frustration, and instead encourages embracing them as valuable signals that can point us toward areas in our lives that need attention or improvement. The chapter explains that negative emotions are not inherently bad or destructive. Rather, they are natural responses to situations and experiences that trigger discomfort or dissatisfaction. When individuals acknowledge these emotions instead of denying or pushing them away, they can learn important lessons about their personal values, desires, and unmet needs. The chapter emphasizes that these emotions should be viewed as opportunities for growth, not as setbacks or signs of weakness. The core idea in this chapter is that emotions, even those typically considered negative, have the potential to fuel personal development when channeled effectively. For example, anger is often associated with conflict or frustration, but it can serve as a powerful motivator when understood as a sign that one's boundaries or values are being violated. By recognizing and addressing the root causes of anger, individuals can take proactive steps to protect their well-being, set clearer boundaries, and stand up for themselves in constructive ways. In this sense, anger can become a tool for asserting one's needs and advocating for necessary changes in life. Similarly, sadness is typically seen as a painful emotion, but the chapter explains that it can provide clarity and insight into one's emotional state, relationships, or unresolved issues. Sadness can prompt introspection, encouraging individuals to reflect on what truly matters to them and what they may need to release or let go of in order to move forward. By embracing sadness as a natural part of the human experience, individuals can heal and grow stronger in their emotional resilience. Frustration, too, is highlighted as an emotion that can either hinder progress or propel individuals forward, depending on how it is handled. The chapter emphasizes that frustration often arises when there is a disconnect between one's expectations and reality. When viewed through a lens of curiosity and openness, frustration can signal a need for change, urging individuals to re-evaluate their goals, methods, or mindset. Rather than succumbing to defeat or resignation, the chapter encourages individuals to channel frustration into action, using it as a prompt to re-evaluate their approach and persist toward their objectives with renewed determination. Similarly, fear, which can often paralyze or hold individuals back, can be reframed as a powerful signal of growth opportunities. Fear usually emerges when we are stepping outside of our comfort zones, and by recognizing this connection, individuals can use fear as a tool to propel themselves into new challenges and experiences that foster personal growth. The chapter stresses that, rather than running from fear, embracing it and taking calculated risks can lead to transformative experiences and profound self-discovery. A key aspect of transforming negative emotions into fuel for growth is the practice of self-awareness. The chapter explains that individuals must first become attuned to their emotions, recognizing when they arise and understanding their triggers. This requires mindfulness and emotional intelligence, as individuals need to acknowledge their feelings without judgment or suppression. When individuals are aware of their emotions, they can begin to question them in constructive ways, asking themselves why they feel the way they do, what these emotions are signaling about their needs or desires, and how they can use these emotions to catalyze positive action. The chapter stresses that self-awareness allows individuals to make conscious choices in response to their emotions, rather than reacting impulsively or being controlled by their feelings. By developing this skill, individuals can gradually shift their emotional responses from reactive to proactive, turning negative emotions into opportunities for intentional action and personal growth. The chapter also highlights the importance of reframing negative emotions, a technique that involves changing the perspective on the emotion itself. This reframing process is essential in transforming negative emotions into fuel for growth. For example, when feeling overwhelmed, rather than focusing on the feeling of being out of control, individuals are encouraged to reframe the situation by viewing it as a challenge that can be broken down into manageable steps. This shift in perspective allows individuals to take charge of the situation and move toward solutions, rather than succumbing to stress or frustration. Similarly, when experiencing disappointment, reframing it as a lesson in resilience and a stepping stone toward future success helps individuals maintain a positive outlook and keep moving forward, even in the face of setbacks. Reframing negative emotions in this way requires practice and awareness, but can lead to significant shifts in mindset over time. The chapter further discusses the role of resilience in transforming negative emotions into growth opportunities. Resilience, the ability to bounce back from adversity and maintain a positive outlook despite challenges, is a central theme in this chapter. The more resilient an individual is, the better equipped they are to transform negative emotions into actionable insights. Resilience allows individuals to face difficult emotions with courage, seeing them not as insurmountable obstacles, but as part of the natural ebb and flow of life. The chapter explains that building resilience involves developing coping strategies, such as practicing self-compassion, engaging in positive self-talk, and focusing on solutions rather than problems. With resilience, individuals can navigate challenging emotions and use them to fuel forward momentum, rather than allowing them to derail progress. In addition, the chapter emphasizes that negative emotions can be transformative when they are met with compassion, both toward oneself and others. The practice of self-compassion, discussed in earlier chapters, is crucial in this process, as it allows individuals to embrace their emotions without judgment and gives them permission to experience vulnerability. When individuals are kind to themselves in moments of emotional struggle, they are better able to process and learn from these emotions, rather than becoming overwhelmed by them. Self-compassion also helps individuals avoid falling into negative thought spirals, allowing them to reframe emotions and use them as a source of motivation for personal growth. Another important aspect of this chapter is the idea of finding meaning in negative emotions. Rather than seeing emotions like sadness or anger as signs of weakness or failure, the chapter suggests that individuals can find meaning in these experiences by considering what they are teaching about their values, priorities, or goals. By finding meaning in negative emotions, individuals can derive a sense of purpose from them, which can be a powerful motivator for change. For instance, feelings of anger about an unjust situation can prompt individuals to take action towards social change, while feelings of sadness about a relationship can lead to deeper understanding and healing. This search for meaning allows individuals to use their emotional experiences as stepping stones to greater fulfillment and growth. The chapter concludes by reiterating that transforming negative emotions into fuel for growth is not an overnight process, but a continuous journey. Over time, individuals who practice reframing, self-awareness, resilience, and self-compassion will develop a mindset that naturally turns negative emotions into opportunities for personal development. Rather than seeing negative emotions as roadblocks, these individuals will come to view them as integral parts of the human experience that offer valuable lessons and insights. Through this process, individuals can cultivate a mindset that not only fosters emotional intelligence, but also enhances overall well-being, making them more equipped to handle life's inevitable challenges with strength, clarity, and positivity. Conclusion. The conclusion of transforming negative emotions into fuel for growth is a powerful, comprehensive summary that reinforces the central message of the entire book. Negative emotions are not to be feared, avoided, or suppressed, but embraced as key sources of personal growth and transformation. It drives home the idea that emotions like anger, fear, frustration, sadness, and disappointment are all natural and essential parts of the human experience. Instead of seeing them as roadblocks, These emotions are to be seen as signals, messengers that point to areas in life that need attention, change, or healing. The conclusion asserts that the way to effectively deal with negative emotions is not to push them aside, but to face them head-on, understand them, and transform them into positive energy that fuels forward momentum. The book's conclusion highlights that transforming negative emotions into growth opportunities requires a paradigm shift. It challenges the reader to see emotions not as problems to be solved or obstacles to be overcome, but as valuable experiences that offer insight into one's inner world and external circumstances. This shift requires an understanding that emotions, no matter how uncomfortable, are integral to one's personal evolution. The conclusion emphasizes that reframing these emotions is the key. Rather than being paralyzed by feelings of anger or fear, one can begin to see these emotions as catalysts for action, change, and growth. Anger might point to a need for boundaries. Sadness could reveal areas where healing is necessary, and fear could signal new challenges that are ready to be confronted. This reframing helps to empower individuals to respond to negative emotions with intention rather than react out of impulse. Additionally, the conclusion revisits the importance of emotional awareness and self-awareness in the transformation process. It underscores the need to first recognize when negative emotions arise, without judgment. The ability to recognize and name emotions as they come up is essential for individuals who want to master emotional regulation. Acknowledging emotions allows for a deeper understanding of their root causes and motivations. For example, anger might stem from feeling disrespected or powerless, while sadness could come from unprocessed grief or loss. The conclusion highlights that by practicing emotional awareness, individuals can become more attuned to their feelings, allowing them to better manage how they respond to them. This awareness is the first step in transforming negative emotions into positive growth, because it provides the space necessary for reflection and action. Instead of being overwhelmed or controlled by emotions, individuals can take a step back, assess the situation, and then choose a course of action that aligns with their goals and values. The conclusion also speaks to the critical role of resilience in transforming negative emotions into growth. Resilience, the ability to adapt, recover, and maintain a positive outlook in the face of adversity, is positioned as one of the key traits necessary to navigate the challenges presented by negative emotions. The chapter asserts that resilience does not mean avoiding pain, but embracing it as part of the growth process. It emphasizes that resilient individuals view setbacks as temporary, and instead of letting negative emotions derail them, they use these emotions as a source of strength to propel themselves forward. The ability to bounce back after experiencing anger, frustration, or sadness allows individuals to maintain focus on their long-term goals. Resilience helps individuals face adversity and view it as a stepping stone, not a stumbling block. The conclusion stresses that building resilience involves developing coping strategies and emotional tools that enable individuals to respond to difficulties with composure and clarity, rather than reacting impulsively or emotionally. Over time, resilient individuals become more adept at using negative emotions as fuel for growth, knowing that every setback is an opportunity to refine their skills, learn new lessons, and expand their emotional capacity. Alongside resilience, the conclusion emphasizes the importance of cultivating a growth mindset. A growth mindset is the belief that abilities and intelligence can be developed through effort, learning, and perseverance. The chapter reiterates that adopting a growth mindset is crucial in transforming negative emotions into fuel for growth. People with a growth mindset view challenges as opportunities for development and improvement, rather than as insurmountable obstacles. This mindset helps individuals approach negative emotions with curiosity rather than fear. When faced with frustration or disappointment, individuals with a growth mindset will seek to learn from the experience rather than dwell on failure. This perspective allows them to use negative emotions as opportunities for self-reflection, problem-solving, and personal development. The conclusion stresses that developing a growth mindset is not a one-time change, but a continuous process of reframing challenges, embracing learning, and persisting through difficulties. The concept of self-compassion is also deeply ingrained in the conclusion. The chapter highlights that self-compassion is essential in this process of transforming negative emotions. Self-compassion means treating oneself with the same kindness, understanding, and support that one would offer a friend in moments of struggle. This practice is particularly important when dealing with negative emotions, as individuals tend to be overly critical of themselves when they experience difficult feelings. The conclusion emphasizes that practicing self-compassion helps individuals avoid becoming overwhelmed or discouraged by negative emotions. Rather than judging or criticizing themselves for feeling angry, sad, or frustrated, individuals with self-compassion are able to accept these emotions without self-blame. Self-compassion also allows individuals to move forward from negative emotions with greater clarity, as it fosters a non-judgmental space for healing and growth. Through self-compassion, individuals can treat themselves with kindness and patience as they navigate the complexities of their emotions, which ultimately helps them grow stronger and more resilient in the face of adversity. Another key takeaway from the conclusion is the idea of purpose and meaning. The chapter argues that negative emotions, when processed and reframed, can help individuals find deeper meaning in their lives. The conclusion stresses that emotions such as anger or sadness are often signs that something important needs attention. By embracing these emotions, individuals are invited to explore their values, desires, and needs. For example, anger at an injustice can fuel a desire to take action towards social change, while sadness about a personal loss can lead to a greater appreciation for life and relationships. The chapter emphasizes that finding meaning in negative emotions gives them purpose, transforming them from burdens into powerful motivators. Rather than feeling powerless in the face of negative emotions, individuals are encouraged to use them as guides to deeper self-awareness, action, and change. The conclusion also stresses that transforming negative emotions into fuel for growth is an ongoing process that requires continuous effort and practice. It is not a one-time fix, but a lifelong journey of self-discovery, reflection, and growth. As individuals work to reframe their emotions, build resilience, and cultivate self-compassion, they will gradually develop greater emotional intelligence. This emotional intelligence enables individuals to better navigate life's challenges, turn setbacks into opportunities, and ultimately live a more fulfilled and empowered life. The conclusion inspires readers to see negative emotions not as failures or weaknesses, but as powerful tools for personal evolution. Over time, with consistent practice and a positive mindset, individuals can create a life where negative emotions are viewed as stepping stones toward a stronger, more resilient, and more balanced self. Finally, the conclusion calls for action. It invites individuals to start practicing the principles laid out in the book, taking small steps to reframe their negative emotions, embrace self-compassion, and develop resilience. It stresses that real change occurs when people begin to apply these concepts in their daily lives, making emotional growth a priority. By doing so, individuals can foster a more positive, empowering, and fulfilling life that is not defined by emotional challenges, but by the growth and strength that those challenges bring.